The 2022 Apple Watch is one that you should definitely be excited for. Why? Well, that's because Apple won't just be releasing one model, but three. One of which will absolutely blow you away. This is coming from Mark Gurman's latest report from just a few days ago, in which he's saying that the very first Apple Watch to be updated in 2022 will be the Apple Watch SE. The Apple Watch SE was a very interesting product, as this was released back in September 2020, and it was basically an Apple Watch Series 4, so just like this one, but with a more powerful S5 processor, 32 gigabytes of storage instead of 16 gigabytes. However, it actually lacked the ECG meter that the Series 4 had. However, it was much more affordable at $279 compared to $399 that the Series 4 originally started from. The only thing that stopped me from recommending the SE to people was that it lacked an always-on display, just like the Series 4 did, which I think is something that every single smartwatch should have. In 2021, we did get the Apple Watch Series 7, but the SE was unfortunately left untouched. Mark Gurman claims that the SE would finally be updated in 2022, but he doesn't really specify what upgrades it will have. But the most obvious one here would of course be a new Apple S6 processor, which would be 20% faster than the S5 inside the current SE. I know it's not a massive improvement, but at least this would make the new SE a bit more future-proofed in terms of software updates. Another upgrade that I do hope Apple will add is that always-on display. You see, up until the Series 7, the main difference between the SE and the Series 6 was really the lack of that always-on display. Sure, it also lacked some health sensors, but that always-on display was something that you could visually see was missing. But with the Series 7, Apple increased the display size while also making the bezels much thinner, which is why I think that they will finally add an always-on display to the SE, as now the visual difference between the two would actually be the bezel size. So there's still a visual difference, just not the always-on display anymore. The SE originally launched alongside the Series 6, and it was almost identical to the Series 4 from 2 generations prior, which means that the new SE, which would launch alongside the Series 8, could be almost identical to the Series 6, with the only exception potentially being the lack of the oxygen level meter. Okay, the second Apple Watch in the 2022 lineup will be the Apple Watch Series 8. This is pretty much a no-brainer, as Apple has released a new Apple Watch model every single year. The Series 7 was the first redesign since the Apple Watch Series 4, as it made the bezels thinner and the whole chassis larger. The Series 8 is expected to look identical to the Series 7, but with a focus on some new health sensors. More specifically, we've heard reports on a temperature sensor, a glucose monitoring sensor, and a blood pressure sensor, all of them being added to a future model of the Apple Watch. However, this doesn't mean that the Series 8 will get all of these 3 sensors, of course. I would say that the one that the Apple Watch Series 8 will very likely get is the temperature sensor, as that's by far the easiest one to do out of all of these 3. The Wall Street Journal reports that Apple is indeed planning to add this to the Series 8. However, at launch, it would only be used for fertility tracking for women, rather than a full-on body temperature sensor that everyone can use. That would be very disappointing, but considering that they've said at launch, it is likely that Apple would release a software update to expand its functionality. Okay, so what about the glucose monitoring and the blood pressure sensors? Well, according to the Wall Street Journal again, Apple is working on a fairly innovative way to determine your blood pressure, using the heart rate monitor. This doesn't seem that accurate to me, but apparently this would be the easiest and the fastest way for Apple to add this to the Apple Watch. The downside is that you won't be able to see your blood pressure in real time, but instead you'll get a graph showing you the trend of your blood pressure. So similar to how Apple is currently showing you some metrics in the Health app. Not a big fan of this, but hey, if it's something that they could bring to the Apple Watch sooner, I wouldn't really mind it. Now, in terms of that glucose monitoring sensor, that's quite a tricky one to do, as it involves Apple adding completely new sensors. We do have a report coming from Digitimes that claims that Apple is actively working on developing a short wavelength infrared sensor that would be able to detect the amount of sugar in a person's blood. Digitimes does claim that this will be coming to the Series 8, but then the Wall Street Journal claims that Apple is actually facing some technical issues with this approach, as glucose monitoring is normally an invasive approach that requires a drop of blood, whereas Apple wants to turn this into a non-invasive approach using infrared lights. So it's a bit of a different territory, and it's definitely not an easy one to do. So like I said, if I am to put my money on a new sensor for the Series 8, it would definitely be that new temperature sensor. Aside from this, a brand new Apple Watch S8 chip is also expected, as the Series 7 S7 chip was just a rebranded S6. I think that performance-wise, the Series 7 is already crazy fast. Like, I'm very happy with mine. And even battery life, it's been awesome, as I'm even getting 1.5 days compared to not even a full day with my old Series 5. But I do think that the battery life could be better, especially since if you're looking at the Android side of smartwatches, there are various models that can last you for literally weeks. Of course, they're not as feature-packed, but they do offer an incredible battery life. With Apple, you don't have any options like that. But there is one more Apple Watch model to look forward to, and that one is said to be a rugged Apple Watch, specifically aimed at fitness and sports users. This was reported by Mark Gurman, not just now, but a couple of months ago as well. And Russ Young has also tweeted recently that we could see 3 Apple Watch sizes next year. Now, 3 sizes is already what we have now with the SE and the Series 7. Technically even 4 sizes if we consider that the SE also comes in 2 sizes of its own. So I'm pretty sure that when Russ Young said 3 sizes, he was actually referring to 3 different models of the Apple Watch, basically confirming what Mark Gurman has already reported twice this year. But why? Why is Apple making this rugged Apple Watch, and how will it be any different than something like this? An Apple Watch with a rubber case on. Well, to me, this makes 0 sense. Like, why would Apple make a rubbery toy? An ugly Apple Watch that's for sure more durable, but at the same time, this durability would also affect its looks and its usability. I don't think you would want to go to an important business meeting with a watch that looks like a Casio G-Shock, right? But I guess that to Apple, this might make a lot of sense. Just like with the iPhone, where they're now selling 5 different models, they want to also expand the Apple Watch line to appeal to more people. Okay, now since we're already talking about iPhones, I want to show you my own iPhone, which is the silver 256GB iPhone 13 Pro. And you can probably tell that I have this really stunning case on it. This is the Safyana Noir case from Bandwerk, who sponsored this video to show you some of their latest offerings. Now, off the record, this is the most premium case that I've ever had on any of my previous iPhones. It is a bit pricey at $140, but the quality is honestly unmatched. It is made out of 100% Safyana leather, which is one of the most premium types of leather on the market, so it's much more durable and also much harder. On the inside, it features this very soft microfiber cloth that keeps your phone cozy, and of course, we do have MagSafe support. You can customize this case too with 8 different colors to pick from and 3 different finishes for the camera ring and the metal Bandwerk logo. Now, aside from iPhone cases, Bandwerk also has premium Apple Watch bands that match perfectly with their iPhone case offering, and they're all handcrafted from 100% natural leather. Check out Bandwerk by using the link below. Now, back to the video, this rugged version of the Apple Watch isn't necessarily going to look exactly like this. According to Mark Gurman, this rugged design would simply feature a case that's more resistant to scratches, dents, falls, and so on. Apple has already made a Series 7 the most durable Apple Watch yet, but it looks like they want to take things even further with this model. And you know what would be instantly more durable than the current design? A flat design. Remember the one that Jon Prosser reported on but never ended up happening? Well, that could literally be this rugged version of the Apple Watch. A flat frame automatically means a flat glass cover, which will automatically be more durable than the curved glass that we have now. But still, it's a very weird direction for Apple to be going into. Like, if it's just a flat frame watch, then why not make the Series 8 flat framed? Maybe they think that not as many people would buy it in that case, as a flat frame would look less elegant. At least that's how I see it. However, I do actually think that Apple does have a real opportunity here to make something that's more than just a rubberized chassis for the Apple Watch. Like, imagine if Apple reinvented the Apple Watch from scratch with this adventure mode in mind. They could literally make a watch that would not only be extremely durable, but also last for 5 or maybe even 7 days and compete with some of the Android smartwatches offerings. They could get rid of the oxygen level meter, the ECG, and even the always-on display, as these are all extra features. And then they could use that extra space inside to put a larger battery in. In fact, they could even make the whole watch double the thickness of the current model and then add a battery that would offer double its longevity. just like that. And then you could take this super durable watch that would withstand drops, rain, mud, basically everything with you, while also lasting you for the entirety of your trip. And if you do run into a dangerous situation, it could also have satellite communication built in, so satellite SOS, which we already know that Apple is working on. And with that, you could reach the emergency services without the need to have cellular connectivity built in all the time and, activated, which would drain your battery life quite quickly. I think that as long as Apple designs this watch from scratch with this new adventure mode in mind, they could really build something unique here, as if they simply add a rubber case to the current design, you'd better be off just buying a case like this for your current Apple Watch. Link in the description, by the way, if you actually want to buy such a case. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts on such an Apple Watch. Would you consider buying one if they were to release the Adventure Apple Watch tomorrow? I'm Daniel, this has been Zen of Tech. Definitely subscribe for more Leaks Rumors episodes like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Zen of Tech, signing out. Cheers.